Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. How are you today? Today I'm going to be telling you all about my piercings. Now this video is going to be the kickoff to a new series here on my channel that's just going to be talking about my piercings. In today's video I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of my piercings. Gonna go over which ones I have, the pain level, how long it took to heal, those kind of things. But then I'm gonna do some more in-depth videos for each piercing that's gonna tell you how long it took them to heal, like why I got the piercing, because I feel like each piercing has a little bit of its own story to like why I got it, or talking about the getting it part, you know? So I think these are going to be every Wednesday for a little while. I don't have a ton of piercings, but just until I tell you about all of them. But today, we're just going to kind of go over the basics and talk about which ones I have and all that fun stuff. So, I'm going to get up a little bit closer here so you guys can see a few of them, and then we can start talking about them. So, first piercing we can talk about are my lower lobes here. I got them done when I was 5 years old. I don't remember how long it took for them to heal because I was so little. My mom took care of them. Pain. The initial piercing didn't hurt, but like afterwards, it hurt really bad. I remember it got really painful after the piercing was done. It was done with a piercing gun at Claire's at the mall. And I don't remember a ton of it. Next piercing we have is my belly button piercing. I was 18, almost 19 when I got that one done. It took 6 months for it to heal. It was very painful getting it done. I've heard from other people that it's not painful to get done. Mine was like a special circumstance. There's a whole story that goes with this one. Like, if you want to hear a horrible piercing story, like, you want to subscribe and stick around so that you can hear all about my belly button ring. But it was just a really bad experience with getting that one pierced. It was really painful. Whew, man, it was not fun. Again, it took about 6 months. Pain scale, I would say every bit of a 10 getting that one done. My ears, I don't know, like, probably like, realistically, probably like a 3 to a 5, like after the piercing process, because my whole ears just like felt like they got really hot, like they lit on fire. And since I've had my upper cartilage and my industrial done, like, I'm sure that's how these felt. But when I was 5 years old, like, it was the worst thing in the world. So for a 5-year-old, I'd say a 10. For an adult, probably like a 3 to a 5, something like that. Next piercing we have, as mentioned, I have an industrial right up here. I got that one done when I was somewhere between 20 and 21, somewhere in that age range. The initial, like the top piercing, when that one happened, it hurt. It was probably a good 3 to 5 on the pain scale. And it made my whole ear light on fire. Like, that's how it felt. So I didn't feel the bottom piercing go through. And like after the piercing was done and the jewelry was in, the pain kind of eased up. I wasn't really feeling anything until I left the shop and the wind hit it, and then it was back to stinging. It was probably like a 3 from the stinging from the wind. Then I got in the car and I was good. Healing process, to have it completely healed, I would say probably 3-ish months for a totally healed. But for me to be able to like start switching out the jewelry and stuff like that, I think it was only a couple of weeks. Not that I really switched out the jewelry. I got a couple of things that I like wanted to try out, but then I didn't like them, so I just always went back to this guy. But yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks, and I was able to take out the jewelry, but 3 months for it to stop like being sore and all that fun stuff. Next one would be my upper cartilage right there. It's got a little hoop in. I had him done about the same time as the industrial. So about 2021. He again lit my whole ear on fire while the piercing was happening. probably like about a 5 on the pain scale maybe. I kind of like it when I get my ears done and they light on fire because it also at the same time makes everything go numb. So I don't feel the rest of the needle going through, like being pulled through. I don't feel the jewelry going through. I don't feel if they have to mess or adjust anything. I don't feel any of that. It's just one pain versus like when I got my belly button done, there was a lot going on and I felt everything going on and everything was painful and it was different kinds of pains. It was horrid. Whereas with these, when everything lights on fire, like you don't feel the rest of it. It's just everything's like it's numb and like feels like it's on fire, which sounds horrible, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit of a masochist, but I kind of enjoy it. So healing wise, this guy, I really don't remember. I don't feel like it took that long to heal, but honestly, like I've only changed the jewelry out in this at one time because when you get your piercings, at least at a professional piercing shop, they will pierce you with a piece of jewelry that is larger than what you're going to need after you're healed up, and they do that so that when your jewelry swells, there's room for it so when your skin swells, there's room for it on the jewelry. So after this guy went down in swelling, he didn't take long to heal, really, maybe a couple of weeks, and he was like, because I know they say 6 to 8 weeks before you can change out your jewelry, before it's healed. Seriously, he was like, I don't know, just a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 maybe, and he was done crusty. He wasn't crusty anymore, he wasn't painful anymore, he wasn't swollen anymore. He healed really quickly. I think a lot of that is just because I didn't mess with him any. So yeah, he healed really, really quick, and he didn't hurt after he was pierced. Like, it was just getting the piercing itself afterwards didn't hurt any. And I've only changed him once. No, maybe twice. Because I originally switched down to a smaller hoop after he was fully healed. And then I was kind of playing with it probably about a year or so after I'd had the piercing done. And the little ball hair popped out. And these little hoops that you get from the piercer, at least at my piercer, they have to be put in with like pliers. So I wasn't able to put the ball back in myself, and I just wasn't able to do it on my own. So I had to go back to the piercer, and no, I think this is when I switched it down to a smaller one, because I went in because I needed to get my jewelry put back in, and the piercer asked me, do you want to keep with this hoop or do you want to go smaller? So I went smaller. That's what it was. So I've only switched it out once, and I've had him since I was 21. I'm 26 now, almost 27. So I've had him, you know, about 6 years, give or take a little. Yeah, he was no big deal. So after that, I got my eyebrow done. And I know if you guys watched my Nicole Guerrero review, you guys would have that's the first video you guys will have seen of me with my eyebrow ring in since I started YouTube. But I actually had my eyebrow pierced for the first time when I was about 20, 21. I just kind of went crazy in that like 2-year time span with getting piercings. Kind of crazy. Not really, but got a handful of different things done. The initial piercing itself did not hurt at all. It was probably the easiest piercing I've gotten out of all of my piercings. The needle just slid through like butter. Like, I could feel the needle going through, and I know that sounds horrible, but it wasn't painful at all. I could just feel it, and I was like, that feels weird. But it wasn't painful, and then the jewelry went through, and again, wasn't painful. He was probably one of seriously, my least painful piercing the first go-around. Healed relatively quickly in the sense that I could take the jewelry out, but I still struggled the entire time I had my first piercing, which was probably 3 years that I had it. And I struggled a lot with getting infections from ingrown hairs from my eyebrows. So we'll see if that's an issue I have this time or not. Hopefully not. But I would get like little pustules. I can't talk, but like little pockets of pus that would get really sore inside the eyebrow piercing. And I would take out the jewelry and like push on it, and the little pockets would like pop out, and there would be like a hair in them. I know that sounds horribly disgusting, but I had that several times, and the piercing would just be sore, and sometimes I'd leave it out for a few days to let it like calm down. Other times I would just leave it in the jewelry, just depending on the soreness. But that was something that I dealt with the entire time I had the jewelry, was, you know, getting little infections and just being sore. and hopefully that doesn't happen this time. So for this one, it is not healed yet. For my second go around here on the eyebrow ring, I got it done last Friday. So I will have had it pierced a full week this coming Friday. You guys won't see this until next Wednesday. So if you want to do the math on that one, I don't know what the date is today. So by the time you guys see this, I will have had it for like a week and a half-ish. But the initial getting the piercing done this time, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. The guy even said that it was kind of hard getting the needle to go through because he went through scar tissue. I had it pierced in the exact same spot that I had the original eyebrow ring. Oh, I can insert a picture of what the scars looked like from my first eyebrow ring. They're really small scars. They're hardly noticeable from a distance. Up close, you can see them. Could see them. Now there's jewelry there. But beforehand, it was like, you couldn't really see them from a distance, like from where I'm sitting now. Like, you wouldn't have even been able to tell they were there. But if you got up really close to my face, you could see I had like a little spots. I know that's something people like to wonder about when they get piercings is it going to leave a scar if it heals up? And the answer to that is quite possibly, but it might not be anything major. So I'll go ahead and insert that somewhere. Past Kristen here to show you my eyebrow ring scar. Lots of noises going on over here, so I'm sorry. Baby's like playing with toys and dogs like squeaking a ball. So we ain't here for that. I'm here for the scar on my old eyebrow ring. I currently have no makeup on because I'm getting ready to go get the piercing, but don't want to wear makeup to get a piercing because I'm afraid like getting the piercing, the needle going through. Like, I don't want makeup getting like shoved like into my skin and the piercing. Does that make any sense? So I'm just like, no makeup today. Well, I got a little bit like mascara on, eyeliner, but I don't think that's gonna be an issue. Anyways, so this is the eyebrow that had the piercing. I'm betting from about this distance right here, you can't even tell that there's a scar because the scar the scar is like really tiny. But up close here, you can see there's the bottom hole and the top hole's not. I don't think it's as visible, but it's like super tiny. It really doesn't bother me any at all, but yeah, there it is. So that is what my healed up eyebrow piercing scar looks like from my first eyebrow piercing. So on to whatever I'm talking about with getting it redone. But yeah, the second go around, it hurt. I didn't light up on fire or anything like that. I have heard that some people like have major swelling and bruising and cause like a black eye. I've never had that problem with getting an eyebrow ring. That's never been an issue, not for the first time and not for this time. I would say this piercing for the pain was very, well, not really similar to getting my belly button ring, but similar in the sense that there was different pains and I could feel different things. Because the needle itself was like a sharp pinch, like getting a bee sting almost, and then the pushing through the skin, that hurt this time because of all the scar tissue. So that didn't feel too good, and that was like a separate pain on its own. And the jewelry going through, I felt that was more blunt and scrapey feeling, and it was kind of painful as well. So after all of that was said and done, the pain went away. It didn't last. Pain scale, like maybe a 5. It really wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great either. If this one gets infected and I can't keep it again, I don't think that this is something I'm going to get pierced again, just because like how much do I want to fight with it, you know? But as far as healing, I think it's healing quite nicely. I've had a little bit of crusties, but not a whole lot. It's still a little bit tender, but nothing super bad. It is still a bit swollen and puffy. I can definitely feel that, and I can also tell because of how much space is on the jewelry. You can see there's not a lot of space. You're not seeing, unless I push it up, you're not really seeing the barbell any. So since you're not seeing the barbell any, you can tell that there's definitely some swelling still going on there. Once the swelling goes down, you'll definitely see the barbell, and then I will need to switch out to a smaller piece of jewelry. But yeah, I think within another week or two, it's going to be doing just fine because it's healing really quickly. I can sleep on it just fine. I know you're not supposed to sleep on your piercings, but I roll all over the place at night. And I've woke up like face down in the mattress and it doesn't hurt. It's not an issue. The only time I've had problems with it is like if I kind of hit it or it gets kind of hit for some reason. Like I've got a baby, so if I'm holding him, he like, you know, he likes to grab faces and sometimes he's not very coordinated. So you get whacked a little bit. I've even bumped it when I first got it. That doesn't feel great. I'm more aware of it now, and so I more avoid that area. But otherwise, yeah, I like it. I love eyebrow rings. I'm rambling. So last piercing here to talk about is my nose ring. It's just a tiny little diamond stud. I don't know how you guys can see that there. I got him about the same time frame with all the others, between 20 and 21. He hurt like a bitch. I would say on a pain scale, that one was definitely a 10, and I had a good experience. Like, I was the same piercer that's done pretty much all my piercings. He does an excellent job. His name is Matt Tubbs. He works at New Breed here in Kokomo, so if you're in the Kokomo, Indiana area and you're looking to get piercings done, head over to New Breed. You won't be disappointed. Like I said, I've pretty much had everything done there, except my belly button ring and my industrial, which that was done there, but it was done by a different piercer. So, anyway, the nose ring was really painful, and you can't judge my pain to what your pain would be for getting it done, because I've talked to several people who have had their nose rings done, and they say it's no big deal and doesn't hurt at all. My cousin, who has a horrible pain tolerance, had her nose ring done at the exact same time I had mine done, and she said it was no big deal. And then I went to get mine done, and I was like, bitch, you lied. And then I recently went with my friend to get her nose ring done while I got my eyebrow ring done, and she said it was no big deal, it didn't hurt at all. So really, pain, it's going to depend on the person. You can't really judge what your pain is going to be. From my pain, it could be a completely different experience, but for me, getting the nose was probably the worst piercing besides my belly button, which again, that was a special circumstance. I would never get that one re-pierced if anything ever happened to it. No, no, no. It hurt really bad. The healing process took a while. I'd say somewhere between 3 to 6 months for it to fully heal. I can now take it out for a few days at a time, maybe a week or something, and then I can still put the jewelry back in. It's not an issue anymore. But yeah, the healing took a while, 3 to 6 months easy. And then I'd say after the 3-month mark, I could switch the jewelry out, but I still had to keep something in there, otherwise it wanted to like heal up. It definitely was sore for the first 3 months. I ended up changing the jewelry after 2 weeks because at my piercer they used the corkscrew, and 2 weeks into having my nose ring, I was sleeping and I rolled over and I scratched my face and my nail caught the nose ring and flicked it out. Hurt so bad. I don't recommend doing that. Keep your nails clipped if you're gonna get a nose ring. Just throwing that out there. But I couldn't get the corkscrew back in, so I had to make an emergency run at like 1 in the morning to Walmart to buy a nose jewelry. I don't even remember what it was that I got. So I did switch it out at 2 weeks. But then whatever it was that I put in, I kept it in there for like the next 3 months for it to heal. And then that particular piece of jewelry had a little ball on the end of it. I don't recommend those because your piercing will heal up around the post, and if you have a ball at the end of your jewelry, when you go to take it out, that ball has to come back through your piercing, and if your hole is smaller than what the ball is, then that ball is going to have to gauge your hole back out, and it is very painful because I had the one with the little ball on it for like 3 months, and then I decided to take it out. My cousin ended up having the same one. I don't remember why she changed hers, but we ended up having the same piece of jewelry. And I remember her telling me that she had just worked on getting that thing out of her nose, and it was really painful, and she's like, you should go ahead and get yours out before it heals all the way, because we went together to get our noses. So I went ahead to take mine out, and it took me 30 minutes to get the thing out of my nose, and it ripped like a chunk of skin out with it. It was disgusting. It was gross. It was painful. Then I had to switch out to what I currently wear, which is just a little L-shape guy right here with no ball on the end. and then it took like another 3 months for it to fully heal after having that ball get ripped through it. So I don't recommend those ones at all, but otherwise, pain for healing. It was sore and tender for about 3 to 6 months, but it wasn't like super bad. It was like a 1-ish, something like that. And yeah, I've had it for several years now, and I have 0 issues with it. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps up everything for this video. Let you know kind of how much it hurt. Let you know all the piercings I have. Went a little more in depth with the nose ring than I probably should have. My son is awake, so I need to go take care of him. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thumbs up, comments. Let me know your thoughts and whatnot. And subscribe if you want to hear more in-depth stories about each of my piercings. I will do a dedicated video per piercing, so you just have like more information. Pimpin'. Just kidding, my jacket's moving around. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.